Hello, it is Saturday, June 4th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Saturday puzzle today. It's going up a little late, so apologies for that, but it's here now. So it's a Saturday puzzle. It's a themeless puzzle, therefore, and probably a tricky one. So this tricky edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Michael H., Joe Percy, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster and the invaluable Timothy Mark. So thank you so much to the four of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous contributions to the sustainability of this channel. I very much appreciate that. And I appreciate the contributions of everybody who has become a patron. And if you'd like to join them, you can get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week, such as yesterday's weekly mini puzzle speed solve. So do check that out if you are a patron. And head over to patreon.com/dailysolve if you're interested in becoming one yourself. There's also the Daily Solve Discord chat server. I noticed there was just yesterday, I think, in the Constructor's Corner Complete channel, there was a new cryptic crossword posted. So there are a pair of great channels in the Discord chat server where members of the Daily Solve community construct their own crosswords. And I am very much looking forward to doing my next Constructor's Corner video roundup for patrons. So this one might involve a few cryptic crosswords, or at least one or two, and an acrostic as well, possibly. So very exciting. Anyway, that's all found in the links underneath the video in the description field, both the Patreon and the Discord chat server. All right, let's get on to today's crossword. As noted, this is a Saturday crossword, so our second of two themeless puzzles of the week. It was constructed by Scott Earl. This is Scott Earl's third crossword for the New York Times, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. What am I doing? All right, let's get on to it. Start solving. Very open grid. Yeah, lots of answers in this grid, I think. Anyway, senator after whom Honolulu's airport is named. I think I'm going to recognize this when I see it, and it's going to annoy me that I can't think of it. Daniel, he was a World War II veteran, I'm pretty sure. And I think he might have died within the last few years. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I'll recognize it when I see it. His burial place is said to be in Israel's cave of Machpelah. Wow, interesting. David, maybe? Is it King David? I don't know. That's just a guess. That's a complete guess. One-time candy maker based in Revere, Massachusetts. Don't know. Let's keep looking. Let's go in the acrostic. Mag, e.g. Is it a publication? It's a bit of a iffy guess. Blank year. And Spanish article. Oh. Los or las is maybe plausible here. Does that mag, e.g. mag? What else could mag be? I'm not placing what mag is. Not going well so far, is it? No longer available in a way. In a way. I don't know. The burger chain In-N-Out has a famous one. Okay, I do know this. Someone largely from the west coast of the United States. I'm familiar with the In-N-Out burger chain, which has a famous secret menu, including options like having your burger prepared animal style, that sort of thing. Okay, Isaac, maybe. Israel's cave of Machpelah. That's actually sounds more plausible to me for some reason. And actually, that looks better with the I. I'm pretty sure the senator after whom Honolulu's airport is named starts with an I. Daniel, it's going to infuriate me until I finally get there. All right, who's the candy maker based in Revere, Massachusetts? I don't know. The bits in a byte, e.g. An octet, there are eight bits in a byte. Sorry, a byte. And vote holder on Survivor. I'm not sure what this means. I've actually never seen Survivor. Is it an urn? Do they put votes in an urn? That's just sort of a guess based on the R there. Me too. And you too? Oh, that's clever. Me too and you too. It is, maybe? Is that? What about this? Play it cool. Act natural. There we go. And formal name for 11 down in brief. And 11 down is not highlighted. Let's see. Major legislation of the 111th Congress. Oh. I wonder if this is... I don't know what year the 111th Congress was, but I wonder if this is Obamacare and the ACA. That's a sort of useful crossword thing because ACA is an easy acronym to fit. So the bits in a byte could be an octad maybe. So the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare being the sort of colloquial term for that legislation. So one-time candy maker based on River, Massachusetts. Is it NECA or NECO? Is that... or DECA? Actually, N, I think, is better for the senator name. Daniel Anu. Why is it resisting? Why is my memory resisting me so heavily here? It's infuriating. Sets of closing notes are codas. Okay, so Necco, I guess, was the one-time candy maker. I'm really having to piece this crossword together bit by bit, aren't I? I guess 8 bits at a time, perhaps, byte by byte. I think this is an A. U2. Maybe not. I think it's an A because of the senator's name, but it doesn't look great here. U2 at... Oh, et tu. Oh, literally sort of you to and you. Daniel, and... This is truly infuriating. March word. Is it hut, as in sort of hut, that kind of thing? Popular half-hour sketch comedy of the 1970s to 1980s with the... I don't know, I might delete that for now. Here we have blank year, and here we have Spanish article. Is it una? And then it may be screwed up. Rule, mag, e.g. What is mag, e.g.? Mag, for example. And blank year per year, is it simply that? Oh, maybe it is pub. After all, publication, is that really what it is? It may be screwed up. Screw up a bowl? What is this? Sorry, I'm really struggling today, aren't I? It's sort of, yeah, it's just giving this, I'm just not progressing apace here. No longer available in a way. Transport unlikely to operate in the summer. T-bar, so that's the one of the mechanisms you can use to go up a mountain for ski slopes, and those might not be operating in the summer. Sometimes they do if there are sort of alternative summer sports offered at the particular resort, but anyway, like muesli, is it OT? That has come up in the crossword before. I'm not crazy about that kind of word, which I don't really think anyone ever says very OT, but it has. I have seen it in the crossword, and muesli has oats in it, so perhaps. Savanna and tundra, those are biomes. Okay, so what is this? It may be screwed up. A bulb? Oh, wow. I was nowhere close to understanding that. So a bulb, you screw it up into a light fixture, I suppose. Wow, I was not in any way getting that. So plus or minus something, an ion, charged particle, a positively or negatively charged ion. Museum pieces you might find to be moving. Op art is the sort of artwork that will appear to be moving because of the ways that the lines sort of intersect and run parallel. It's that kind of optical illusion sort of thing. I mean, optical illusion may be the wrong word, but op art, that sort of creation. Okay, if you lower oneself, you stoop, literally. No longer available. Oh, sold. It's sold. It's no longer available in a way. I see. Fair enough. Sleepyhead maybe is a late riser, perhaps. And all 48 following the Volstead Act, dry states. That would have been legislation enacting prohibition in the United States. All right, right this way, right this way. I'm not sure. What about this? Source of oils used in wellness. Something tree and nut tree, maybe? A yew tree? What kind of oil? Not sure. Blank alcohol. Ethyl alcohol? East? Oh, right this way is east. So in the sense that this is the right of the puzzle and also sort of the eastern end of the puzzle, perhaps? So is it ethyl alcohol? Is that what this is? And trio in some bios. Trio in some bios. What are there 3 of in some bios? I assume it means biography, but I don't, but I'm not certain. Of course, you need a compass to navigate. And I'll blank it. I don't know. Maybe I should delete ethyl. I'm not certain about that. Where can we look next? Area near a stage. Popular half hour, right? Okay. It's a matter of degree. An angle? Personal identifier in the deaf community. Oh, interesting. I don't know. Mentor to a queen is some kind of regent or something. Muscle relieving tools for runners. Oh, maybe it's a drag queen. Is it a drag something? Drag mother? Seems plausible. Me too. Something same. My first thought was this would end with me, but you wouldn't do that because me is already in the clue, so we're not going to repeat it. That just doesn't happen. In the New York Times crossword, anyway. It gets hatched in a fantasy novel. Dragon egg, maybe? I mean, that seems perfectly plausible. One to follow, a rule of some kind. Muscle relieving tools for runners. Source of oils used in wellness. Oh, that's funny. We had source of oils used in wellness and source of oils used in wellness. Very good. This is the kind of thing I appreciate in a themeless puzzle. So aloe, classic New York Times crossword plant, is certainly a source of oil used in wellness. That's fair enough. So one to follow. Maybe it is a rule maker. LGBT rights activist Windsor. Oh, it is Pride Month. So we do have LGBT rights activist Windsor. We have sort of a drag reference. Was there anything else? I'm not sure. Anyway, it's not a themed puzzle, but you can have, that often happens in themeless puzzles. You get a few little nods just to kind of give the puzzle a bit of character. Is it Edie Windsor? That sounds actually kind of familiar, but I'm not certain. Beauties are gems, maybe? Blank club. I don't know what that is. Silly sorts. Interesting. So this won't be able to be pluralized with an S, which is surprising. So could beauties be something else? I mean, beauties seems like it should end with an S as well. That's very interesting. Silly sorts. Not sure exactly what's going on there. Lowest ranking member of a group. Let's see. So it wouldn't be something S to the somethingist something, because I don't really think there's anything that would fit there. Blank and roll, punny name for a sushi bar. Walk and roll? That is absolutely terrible, but I think it might be the answer. Okay. Popular half-hour sketch comedy. The something show. Okay, it's notable that the clue doesn't use the word show. Something cat show. I don't think this is something with which I'm personally familiar. Inspector of British fiction. Oh well, Inspector Morse. That's a long-running British sort of crime procedural sort of show, and there have been spin-offs of it as well. Trio in some bios. So what is this? And muscle relieving tools for runners. Rollers, right? You can run rollers over your muscles after straining them. That's definitely a thing. Aid in avoiding distractions. Alone time. There we go. That looks right. Great. Blank. Oh, didn't look at this clue before. Blank Chem 101 level course familiarly. Gen Chem. I've actually never heard that before, so it's not familiar to me perfectly, but in this case, but I'm perfectly willing to believe it is familiar to some. One to follow. A role model. There we go. That's better than rule maker or whatever it was I said. Lowest ranking member of a group. Oh, Omega, perhaps, because it's the sort of last letter, I guess. A glee club, right. A singing, sort of amateur singing group. And then, okay, this does look like E. Windsor, which is what I thought. Silly sorts. Oh, silly geese. And that is how we pluralize it without an S at the end. Silly geese. That looks right. Kind of motel. Oh, and a no-tell motel. Partner in a barn dance maybe could be a gals and guys or whatever. Course you need a compass to navigate. A geocache? Is that a course? I'm not really sure. Maybe I won't put that in just yet. Post-punk genre. No, it's not. Post-punk genre is emo, one of the favorite musical genres of the New York Times crossword. Once again, as with ACA, we've got some useful letters to stick into 3-letter spaces there. Course you need a compass to navigate. Oh, geometry, a geometry course. Oh, very clever. That's a great slightly misleading clue, but only slightly. What about this? Become one. Tie the knot. There we go. I had thought for a while perhaps that no longer available in a way was going to refer to someone being married or something, and therefore no longer available in that sense, but it was not the case. Okay, trio in some bios. I just don't see what that is. Oh, a tea tree. You do see that sometimes on fancy soaps and things, that they're made with tea tree oil. So maybe that's the answer. Salute, say, could be to what? Treat somebody to something? I don't think that's right. Personal identifier in the deaf community, name sign. Right, I see, that makes sense. So in sign language, a sign that is reflects your name, it serves as your name, I guess is what it is your name. So something sort of is sort of ish. This is a hard-ish puzzle. I would say it's a difficult puzzle. Area near a stage. Oh, the pit. So that could be any number of things. In some rock shows, that could be the pit, the sort of mosh pit in an orchestral concert. It could be the orchestra pit. Any number of things that could be. Oh, the Muppet Show, popular half-hour sketch comedy of the 1970s and 80s. It is something I'm at least broadly familiar with. The Muppet Show. I guess it wouldn't have occurred to me to consider it a sketch comedy, but I guess it basically is. That's funny. March word. Oh, so I guess, is it hup? That just looks strange. Oh yeah, same. And it's Daniel Inouye. There we go. Why was that so difficult for me to remember, the senator? Okay, let's finish this puzzle. This has been quite a challenge. Salute, say, greet. Of course, greet somebody. I mean, and that's why obviously greet and salute they're absolutely not synonyms, but that's why it says salute, comma, say, because we're saying, well, this is sort of, you could consider this a version of that, even though they're not direct synonyms. Okay, so this does look like ethyl alcohol after all, that's fine. Categorizes is arranges, and let's just look at this. Trio in some bios, she, her, hers. I don't really understand what this means. I mean, when you list someone's pronouns, it's usually just 2 of them. So I'm not even sure necessarily what this is specifically referring to. Trio in some bios. It might just be that. It might just be that with more extensive than maybe is the common convention. Okay, I'll blank it. I'll allow it. And like yoga instructors, they're lithe often. agile, flexible people. Constellation with Betelgeuse and Bellatrix. Is it Orion? I think Betelgeuse is in Orion. Not as familiar with Bellatrix, I must admit. Blank Sleeps Over. Classic children's book. Ira? Don't know this book. Radio broadcast units. Watts. Graham alternative. Oh, that's clever, and I might have missed it if I didn't have any crosses, but Nan is a grandmother. Nan or Graham. What might be a strain in a theater? A strain. Oh, an aria maybe? A strain of music? A song? Not sure. Let's not fill that in just yet. Sigh, never mind. Oh, forget it. Yes, I don't know. Don't forget that aria. It might actually be the answer. Partner of 65 across, and 65 across, of course, is partner of 53 down. So, not sure yet. What about this? One starting a row, or maybe one starting a row. Is it a hoe, maybe? A row, sort of in gardening or planting, sowing seeds? Actress Claire of the Crown. Claire Foy was the, played Queen Elizabeth II in the first 2, maybe, seasons of The Crown. Okay. Playground immunization. Something shot. What kind of shot? Oh, I see. Immunization is in quotation marks, so it's not meant to be taken seriously. So it's a cootie shot, I suppose. I actually don't really know what that specific... I mean, I obviously am familiar with the concept of cooties, which... Well, then I was about to say I was going to describe them. I actually don't know what it is. I guess it's sort of like an unspecified germ that boys catch from girls, or maybe also vice versa. I'm not really sure exactly how one would define it, but I guess there's sort of a fictional idea of an immunization from them. I shouldn't have tried to start explaining this. I realized I don't really have the language to do so. Okay, so partner... Oh, lock and key. Oh, I see. Right. So I was trying to think of names and that sort of thing, but no. Partner in a linguistic sense, or functional sense as well, I suppose. Lock and key are partners. And then one starting a row is indeed a hoe. Okay, great. So it was a gardening-related clue and answer. Medium strength. So not medium strength as in a strength between low and high strength, but rather the strength of someone who is a medium, who contacts spirits and that sort of thing. So ESP, extrasensory perception, and Rocky Mountain National Park sites must be aspen trees, and that makes my suspicion, my original discarded suspicion, that a strain in a theater would be an aria in an opera, for instance, correct. And there we have it. So that took some work, I would say. This was the least useful piece of knowledge I theoretically actually possessed that I can remember in a recent crossword. I was so confident I knew this answer, and again, as I suspected, I do recognize it when I see it, but at no point during the puzzle did it give me the slightest bit of help, because I simply could not recall this actual name. It was truly maddening the entire time, I must say. And so that is I don't know, I would say a particularly American piece of knowledge, but didn't help, didn't end up actually accruing any of that benefit to me over the course of the puzzle. Yeah, it was a tough Saturday puzzle for me for whatever reason. I did have just constant resistance throughout. Really had to chip away at this bit by bit or byte by byte. With our octad of bits in a byte. And I suppose, trying to think, were there particular areas of the grid that particularly gave me trouble? I don't necessarily think so. I think I really did, there was just ongoing resistance throughout the whole thing, which is, I think that is my preferred type of difficulty to encounter in a Saturday puzzle. I do appreciate that. It is a Saturday puzzle. It is supposed to be the most difficult one. So I'd rather have that than, for instance, a particular cross that just feels completely unsolvable unto itself. So yeah, I enjoyed this puzzle despite the real workout it gave me. So well done, Scott Earl, the constructor. And let's discuss some clues from yesterday's puzzle. What do I have? Oh, okay, yes. So I would say maybe half of all of the comments on yesterday's puzzle dealt with the circular file, a joke reference that went completely over my head. And the first person to explain it, although there were many, but the first person was Carolyn Townley, who explains the circular file is like a joke where you put unwanted stuff. Instead of filing normally, you put it in the circular file, the bin. And Ben Ward says, it only really works when accompanied by the mental image of a circular trash can or basket, preferably in an office. And then various people had stories about their encounters with this terminology. Bradley says, my old boss used to say this a lot. You know what we do with these papers? We put them in the circular file, and then he'd toss them into the trash bin under the desk. And Laura Sexton says, when I was in school, there was always a fairly large, round, gray basket in the classroom. Many of my teachers would tell you to put things in the circular file. So somehow I've gone my whole life without remembering encountering that phrase. So thank you to the many people who explained that apparently quite significant gap in my personal lexicon. All right, Clara Clark comments on blood groups, which I think I mentioned. I'm largely unaware of in the sort of details. I mean, I know the letters, but I don't necessarily know what it means. Anyway, Clara Clark says, when you talk about blood groups, they test for antibodies in the blood. The most common is the ABO system and the rhesus gene. We inherit this from our parents. What is most common differs slightly depending on where you're from. In Sweden, I know A is the most common, closely followed by O. The other thing is the rhesus. This is something you have or you don't. You either positive Rh plus or negative Rh minus. As you only need the one gene from one parent to be Rh plus, it is the more common situation. All right, thank you for that, Clara Clark. I didn't even know about that second bit, so thank you. Sam, aka Frisco17, points out, I think correctly, that I believe in this instance, scaled, which was an answer to a clue went up, was used as in went up a building as opposed to numbers going up, having been scaled up mathematically. And I think you're right. I decided to interpret that in a slightly more convoluted way. I don't think my interpretation was necessarily inaccurate, but I think you're correct. It's not what the constructor was probably getting at. And finally, Altfuter asks about Hendrix. I don't remember what the clue was, but he asks, didn't Jimi Hendrix achieve recognition in the UK first and formed a band here? And yes, that is absolutely true. Jimi Hendrix moved to London and reached his success here in London. And in fact, there is a museum that is now called, I think it's the Handel and Hendrix Museum, because it so happens that the composer, George Frederick Handel, occupied a house that was directly next door, adjacent to the house that Jimi Hendrix, quite some time later in history, occupied. And I've actually been to what was the Handel Museum since then. I think in the mid-2000s, the Handel Museum acquired the house where Hendrix once lived, and they've now been combined into one museum that is connected between the two properties and is now the Handel and Hendrix Museum. I've not yet been there since that renovation happened, but I'm sure I will at some point. Anyway, sorry, just a funny, interesting fact that I sort of enjoy, that these two H-initialed musicians of very different eras, styles, and national origins happened to be sort of historical neighbors, and now, in fact, are presented as such in their shared museum. All right. Anyway, with that, I will draw this video to its close. So thank you so much for joining me for this Saturday edition of the Daily Solve with this tricky puzzle. Let me know if you have faced as much resistance in the solve as I did. I'm curious to know if this was tough for a Saturday or just tough for me for a Saturday. It could be either. I always there have been times, I think even recently, where I said, I thought this was pretty easy for a Wednesday. And people said, I absolutely don't think so. And I've certainly had the opposite experience as well. So I'm always curious to know. Do leave a comment. All right, with that, I'll be back tomorrow for the Sunday puzzle. Shouldn't be as tricky as this one, but it will be a big grid. That is what happens on Sunday. So join me for that long, leisurely solve. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Saturday. Take care.